the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Know, like that. Look, you know what's ill? Like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go, oh, so 10 years, 20 years later, that comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because
of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Why are we looking at me, bro? I just go to church. I just go to church, bro. I have nothing to do with this. I have an alibi.
That's why the laws allow you to go that far back.
Turn away from me right here, bro. I'm just a Catholic kid. You said you've been dead, dude. No. What's the body of Christ taste like? It's sacrilegious. You can't do that.
He's like, yo, drink my blood.
So it is crazy when after 20 years they come out. That shit is foul.
But with Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
Yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only. Everybody else was scared.
Huh?
But everybody else was scared. So you think maybe this is a similar thing where everybody else is scared? I don't know what it is. I'm just asking.
I think that they're scared.
But if they're scared, then maybe that's why I'm saying
insinuating Jay-Z a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you've been saying people are gonna come for him a little bit.
No, I thought he would do funny, funky stuff like the Super Bowl. Like it was not okay for me to be at the Super Bowl.
Oh, he tried to cut that.
Yeah, he didn't want me to. Well, they worked to make like there was an issue with me in the NFL that doesn't exist.
And so then, he did the corporate way of trying to keep you down. Oh, it's not me. It's not.
It's them. And then when M says she's not gonna do it if I'm not there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know. That's
what's your and Jay's issue?
It's just competitive stuff.
It's really just competitive.
This is what I'm saying. When it gets past actual art, like actual music, and you're trying to block something that's in business, then it feels weird. It feels like we should be having beef.
Oh,
okay.
So that's the behind the scenes thing that we don't see. It's one thing when there's like people talking about each other in music, but there's behind the scenes business deals that a guy is getting involved with on the side, and it's not like you're gonna go public and be like, they tried to stop my vitamin water.
This deal, and you go, he said that to you, like.
Okay.
Wow.
I get that.
Like they'll speak to your temperament, like say, 50's a little crazy. He'll say anything. You see what saying anything did to Kanye.
So they're trying. He's basically trying to scare people out of doing deals with you. Interesting. And then M shut it down, and he was like, "Yo, it's gotta happen."
If he's not coming, I'm not coming. And then it changes the whole thing because he really is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like they can say what they want.
Yeah.
But
the world of hip hop is always full of drama and gossip. One of the latest big stories involves Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Diddy. In his documentary, 50 Cent made a serious claim, saying Jay-Z is linked to Diddy in some illegal activities, including blackmail. This isn't just another celebrity fight, it's serious. Jay-Z didn't stay silent, and now the tension between these two big names in the industry is getting worse.
Before the days of the bots and all that shit.
There's a M obviously speaks with you with high praise, but there's a few videos that I see, and everybody talks about how funny you are. They talk about obviously the albums, all the success, but like Eminem specifically talks about your rapping skill a lot.
Yeah.
Is that mean a lot? I'm like,
it does. Like look, he never left that part of the creativity. Like he would go back when you don't see him. He's back. He's in his regimen of the studio.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, he kind of, they can't, you can be as good as him, but you can't really beat him at that. Because you have to put all your energy there.
And you're just not going to do it. Once these guys get famous, they leave the studio.
And they go, and the thing that makes him feel good is you heard what I did last night? And it gives him that again. So if that's really what's driving you, it's really tough to be better than. And some of them may have a gift. It may be a God-given talent that they can rap the way we speak, but they don't work as hard as it. It's like Kobe Bryant was outperforming people because he would work harder, conditioning himself to do it. And other than him, I don't think nobody's.
Who's the most talented rapper you've seen, period? Just talent, natural born.
Maybe Craig G. like when an artist can freestyle, like without thinking about anything, and it just all falls in line and sing. Sometimes they can end up rapping it's so easy for them that they don't know exactly what to rap about. You see what I'm saying?
Technically, it's good.
And
Yes.
even Eminem, because I remember those freestyles where they would just give him a word and he
And
just has to
go.
You
go.
can do that too.
Yeah.
You can go.
But
They
you're
can-
right. Sometimes you miss like the connectivity with the music. Like there's songs, there's comedy where it might not even be like the most perfect joke, but it makes you feel the thing.
yes.
and
Raw,
that's
you know.
better to you.
That it connects. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and look, a lot of times, if there's no truth to it, it's not funny.
Yeah.
It has to have some sort of connection. It's grounded in truth, but it's almost a warped perspective being offered by the comedian. The timing, the way it comes in. And I look at it, I'm like, yo, nah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, you know, and you see things like the white party be there, and then they have a little baby like in a sandwich. Like they're hugging him to the front and the back and stuff. And I'm like, yo, get off of him. That's one of my favorite new artists. Like, yo, get off him. I don't want him going to those
What's up
car
with the
parties.
hugging pictures at the white party though? What is that?
I don't know, bro.
Every picture is a little
Why is
bit.
everyone so happy to be there? I'm like, this regular parties, people don't just hug each other.
You have to
like,
sit in 4 hours of traffic
like
to
5
drive
minutes. Come
to
on, let's have a group hug. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like,
Yeah.
hug, I'm going to shake your hand. Hey, what's up, man? Everything good? Yeah,
It does feel
dressed it all
Yo,
white.
hold
I don't
on,
know,
hold on.
baby.
That
During an interview on Fox News, 50 Cent made some bold claims that upset Jay-Z. He said that Diddy has been blackmailing celebrities for years, which would be a huge revelation if true. But the most shocking part was when 50 Cent accused Jay-Z of being involved in Diddy's alleged illegal activities. He even hinted that Beyoncé might be connected, pointing to a lawsuit Jay-Z filed against Diddy. These accusations have definitely caused a lot of tension between them.
Morales. She's a former makeup artist for Diddy and also Cassie Ventura, working for Diddy for years and eventually becoming a friend of Cassie's. In 2010, Mila alleges that she heard Cassie being physically abused and was a witness to the aftermath of the alleged attack. She joins me now. Mila, thank you so much for being here. This has been, for so many people, illuminating, infuriating, troubling, devastating. You can go down the list of things, but it's so difficult to speak about.
I know.
Being a witness of anything. Tell me how you must be feeling just knowing that this has even come to light.
Well, I have kept this secret for like 14 years. I mean, the first time I experienced it was 2010, and I was in the hotel room when Puff came in, and I had no idea Cassie left. And when I woke up, I just saw his presence come into the room. They went into the bedroom and shut the door, and all I could hear is screaming and yelling and whatever was going on in there, I don't know. But all I could think of was to grab Cassie's things and start packing it up and just getting her out to safety and bringing her to my house. So that's kind of like what transpired from that night. And once she came out of the room, she was badly, beaten.
Oh my God. What did her physical appearance look like?
I mean, it was knots on her head, black eye, busted lip, but a lot of knots all over her head.
Did she go to the police at that point or anything?
No, we didn't know what to do at that point because, Puffy is a very powerful person and we were quite terrified. So I just, brought her to my house, and my friend who is a doctor, I called her, and thank God she was in town because we didn't know what to do. And she treated her for, just to make sure she didn't have a concussion or anything like that. But it was really it was painful to see Cassie like that because she's such a beautiful human being, and for a man to just hurt any sort of woman or child or animal, it doesn't matter. But Cass is a good friend of mine, and I just felt, I just didn't know what to do. I felt like, I don't even know how to describe how I felt that night.
Did she describe how she was feeling about having that happen? Did you get a sense that this was the first time?
It didn't feel like it, because it wasn't. It was almost like, you know, I feel like she might have been embarrassed that that happened in front of me.
These are very serious accusations. Blackmail, illegal activities, and the biggest names in hip-hop tied to it all. If these claims turn out to be true, the fallout could be huge. Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé have built massive empires in music, fashion, and sports. Their reputations are everything, and being linked to something as damaging as blackmail could completely change how people view them and their businesses.
About even predates what we saw in this horrific video from a hotel floor. When that video came out, what did it feel like knowing that that had now been public?
No, I was devastated when I saw that video, because it was like I witnessed what could have happened in that room and more, you know? So that was a hallway incident. Who knows what happened, you know, in that room when I was outside of there. And I was devastated. Actually, I've been devastated since the court cases came out and how, you know, he mistreated Cassie.
He has settled the suit involving her specifically, but there are others, and there are sources that are telling CNN that the majority of the people currently suing Diddy are actually speaking to federal investigators, which indicates the Justice Department might be moving close to an indictment. So do you think that Cassie would testify against him if federal investigators asked her to or compelled her to?
I'm really not sure. Like I said, I can't speak for Cass, but I hope she does. I hope she does, because she's the only one that would know all the information that's gone on over the years. So,
Mila, why do you think? I mean, we've heard certainly, you know, a lot of people in the industry condemn Diddy for what they saw on that video, but it hasn't been a universal outcry within the industry specifically. Why do you think that is?
Because it's a very small industry, and that we all know each other, and I feel like people are afraid to like speak up about it. And the only reason why I am is because I'm a friend of Cass's, and I really care about her very much so. And I'm outraged and very, very like heartbroken about like how he's been treating her. It just it breaks my heart, and I just can't imagine like a man treating a woman that way. And not just a woman, but a friend of mine that I've known since she was a teenager. So, you know, I've known Cassie before all of this. So it disgusts me.
I can only imagine, of all the women that you have worked with and people who are eager to be in the industry, what they are exposed to, how they could be exploited and abused in a variety of ways. And that's why the idea that not hearing so many more people speak up is very frustrating and hurtful for so many people.
It is frustrating and hurtful, even for me, because I know what goes on behind the scenes, and I just can't imagine why nobody's speaking up. I mean, everyone's just hush hush and quiet. I don't know, maybe they're scared. I mean, we've all been scared, so, you know.
I hope this is a turning point, Mila Morales.
I think so.
I really hope it is. Thank you so much for joining me
I hope
tonight.
so.
50 Cent is known for stirring up drama, so we have to take his claims with a grain of salt. He's had public feuds with both Jay-Z and Diddy for years, and this isn't the first time he's made explosive accusations. His career thrives on creating controversy, so it's natural to question what the real truth is behind these allegations. It's hard to know what's genuine and what's just part of the drama.
Right, because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me, that I don't know what those issues are. Like, I don't, what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori was, he had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. He was saying to him, Jay, he was telling me, you know, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50. Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie. Right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. Okay. Big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
so
this.
Now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they're Harper, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and my...
Jay-Z, known for staying out of public drama, especially when it comes to legal matters, usually prefers to let his actions do the talking. He's a strategist and typically avoids getting involved in squabbles. However, with 50 Cent going after him so publicly, Jay-Z had no choice but to respond. Given the seriousness of the accusations, he couldn't stay silent, especially when his billion-dollar empire is on the line. He likely knew that ignoring the situation would only fuel more rumors, so addressing it became unavoidable.
Accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs during an MTV VMA after party in the year 2000. The rapper issued a blistering statement in response and directed his comments at attorney Tony Busby, who filed the suit, saying, quote, "You've made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." Criminal defense attorney Lexi Rigdon joins me now. Lexi, good morning to you. What a development here. So another thing Jay-Z said in his statement is that this was a civil suit filed against him. And he said these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one, essentially saying, if I really did these things, treat me the way I should be treated. So how should we be thinking about all of this? What do you think?
Well, that's some denial from him. And, you know, sometimes celebrities have pretty muted denials, like, you know, I'm not going to comment now, or I direct all questions to my lawyers. I actually admire the strength of the denial. You know, I think that there is at this point, there's no objective indicia of reliability to this complaint. Now, obviously, things are going to play out and we're going to end up learning more. But if you look at it on its face, it's a 24-year-old complaint. Very significantly, he was not named in the lawsuit in the first instance when it was filed. The girl was allegedly 13 at the time it happened, and in the complaint it said that she had been given something and she was quote unquote woozy. And so I think that this just needs to be looked at in kind of a measured way. Unlike the media is treating some people in the media, you know, Pete Hegseth being one of them, where they automatically hear an allegation and they run with it. I think that this needs to be treated in a measured type of way. We don't need knee-jerk societal reactions. Anybody can make allegations against somebody, and people who are rich and famous are particularly targets. And so obviously I don't know what happened, but I think it just needs to play out, and you know, we need to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point.
Well, that's what Tony Busby is saying. So this federal lawsuit was originally filed in October. So interesting that we're only learning about this now. And then Tony Busby responded to Jay-Z's statement by writing this on X. "Since I sent the letter on her behalf," meaning the defendant, "Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. We will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate."
Jay-Z's response wasn't loud or dramatic, but it was effective. He handled it with grace and confidence, showing why he's one of the most respected businessmen in the world. He knew this wasn't just about the allegations, it was about protecting his brand and legacy. Instead of engaging in a public feud, he responded in a way that maintained his dignity and reinforced his status as a powerful figure in the industry. Jay-Z's response wasn't loud or dramatic, but it was effective. He handled it with grace and confidence, showing why he's one of the most respected businessmen in the world. He knew this wasn't just about the allegations, it was about protecting his brand and legacy. Instead of engaging in a public feud, He responded in a way that maintained his dignity and reinforced his status as a powerful figure in the industry.
Suit against his client, citing an NBC News exclusive that found inconsistencies with the accuser's account.
We expect Mr. Carter to be fully cleared of all of this in the coming days. Almost nothing that she says has checked out because this never happened.
This in the wake of our interview with a 38-year-old mother from Alabama who accuses Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs of raping her when she was 13 years old. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward? Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
She says that she might have some facts wrong, but that she says the incident happened. What do you say to that?
You know, anybody, when they make up a claim, they can just keep repeating it and getting it right. But you never get the details right. And what happened during her interview with you is that the story began to unravel.
On the night of the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000, she says Combs' limo driver took her to an after party. There she says she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo. That's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens confirmed they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at that time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter both raped her. She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. She didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not corroborate her story. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't, he said. The woman revealed to us that she has autism and previously suffered a head injury. In a follow-up phone interview, we asked her about the contradictions, and she said that she stands by her statements.
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive. She points out the tattoo. She talks about the tattoo in vivid detail. Turns out that's completely false. And the father is supposed to be picking her up. 10-hour drive, round trip to pick her up in the middle of the night. Has no memory of that. No one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
Spyro said he's not only seeking justice for Jay-Z, he says that he also wants to expose the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby.
He takes away the voices from real victims and he causes real harm. If this lawyer has any sense, he's going to dismiss this claim. I don't know whether he has any sense.
Busby, who has filed more than 20 lawsuits against Combs, told NBC News that he is continuing to vet the accuser's claims and that she has agreed to undergo a polygraph this week. A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
Since your attorneys refiled the lawsuit against Combs naming Jay-Z, he has come out with a very long statement saying that this is completely not true and that this is all about trying to get money from him. What do you say about that?
Jay-Z ignored the drama and stayed focused on his business, proving that he doesn't need to engage in celebrity feuds. His response showed he's too experienced to be distracted by petty insults.
Is pursuing this case. So what happens next?
Well, who knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, we don't know if the feds are going to be looking into this. They may well be at this point. I think that there are people further looking into Diddy. I think there might be a superseding indictment coming and probably looking into the people that he's associated with himself. But this also may well be beyond the statute of limitations. So it really just depends. I mean, as it stands right now, I can't imagine that there's enough evidence to necessarily bring something because somebody's accuser saying something happened 24 years ago without more evidence is probably not going to be enough. But then again, we don't know what evidence she has. So it really remains to be seen if this is actually going to be passed on to the criminal authorities or if they're working on it at this point.
All right, so jury deliberations in the Daniel Penny case are set to resume today after the judge dismissed Penny's second-degree manslaughter charge, which carried a 15-year prison sentence. A jury is now being asked to consider a charge of criminally negligent homicide, which carries a 4-year prison sentence. Tell us what criminally negligent homicide is, and should Daniel Penny be worried about being found guilty of it?
Well, criminally negligent homicide is that he did not act as a reasonable person should have under the circumstances. And this is just very troubling because I was looking at the verdict form, and the verdict form actually says for count 1, which is the manslaughter, If you find him not guilty, then you move on to count 2, which is the criminally negligent homicide. That didn't happen here. There was no finding of guilt of guilt or any acquittal. It was just they were deadlocked. They sent a note. They said we can't come to a conclusion. The judge made them go back and keep deliberating, and then treating it almost like an a la carte menu. The state decided to say, all right, well, we'll just dismiss that count. We'll proceed on the second count. Well, that's not what the jury verdict says. That's not how they were charged. It's very, very inappropriate what happened here. His attorneys were outraged. They have every right to be. This is unfortunate. Whether he should be worried or not, I'm a little bit concerned that there wasn't just an acquittal or not guilty. So there are obviously holdouts on the jury that believe that his conduct, at least for the manslaughter count, had risen to the level of recklessness, which would assume that it rises to the level of negligence. So I don't know. I mean, I think that there is a chance that he could be, but I also think it's equally, probably more so, that it's, again, a hung jury.
We will be watching it all. Lexi, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Jay-Z is no stranger to controversy. From cheating rumors to shady business accusations, he's faced it all. But he's always been able to control his narrative. He knows how to rise above the noise and stay focused on building his empire. So when 50 Cent made these serious claims, Jay-Z chose to ignore the drama and keep focusing on his success.
About Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old.
Right.
And we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you were saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was, the statement is something from, you can tell it's written by a lawyer. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, you're going to find out, like how I'll handle this. And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist wouldn't say those things.
This is on your
put that up.
Yeah, this is on 50? Yeah, it says I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back. The NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of the culture. I'm just telling my opinion.
Right.
Look,
because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre a little.
Right.
And then maybe I stay out of trouble.
The truth is, Jay-Z knows that the best way to handle this is by staying focused on what he does best, his empire. He's learned to ignore distractions, and that's exactly what he did in this situation. By staying focused on his goals, he keeps building his success while letting the drama fade away.
Alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs, that civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long. Where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors, and if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago, but in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time.
Exactly. This feud isn't just about two celebrities going after each other. The accusations have the potential to shake up the entire hip-hop community and even the broader entertainment industry. If these claims are true, it could change the way people view these figures and their influence in business, music, and beyond. The ripple effect could be massive, affecting not just the individuals involved, but the entire culture and industry.
Dime from him. It's not everything is motivated by money, and I'm sorry that he feels that it is.
This woman also told us on camera last week that this isn't about money.
Well, let's be serious. A lawyer like this is not sending out these letters not to make money. He wants money and fame. He doesn't care about truth and justice. And that's what's going on here.
Chloe Malas joins us in studio. So, Chloe, explain this to me. The attorney for the plaintiffs, Tony Busby, right? He is sticking by his client even though you've been able to report these inconsistencies and they are now out there in the public?
Yes, and because of our exclusive report here on Top Story, he's actually going to have Jane Doe do a polygraph test. He says he hasn't done it yet, but that they are going to be doing it this week. He also said in a statement to us moments ago that their conduct throughout all of this has been beyond reproach and will continue to be, even though that's not what you're hearing Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, what he's saying. Also, I just want to show you, Jay-Z's team created a timeline. Obviously, they are, even though this took place allegedly 24 years ago, right? They are saying that there is just no way that he could have been at the VMAs. He's on camera there until the end of the VMAs, which ended right after 11, and that there are photographs of him at the Lotus Club in Manhattan, and they say he was there till 3 a.m., and then he went to the music studio. So, again, they are adamant that
he was not at that party.
That he was not at any sort of after party.
I do want to ask you this. What is Jay-Z's sort of legal team strategy in describing the relationship between Diddy and Jay-Z? Because there are a ton of photos of them over the years, obviously before these allegations came out.
And this civil suit, Tom, originally just named Combs, and then it was amended last weekend to include Jay-Z. What Alex Spiro said to me today is that although publicly Jay-Z supported Diddy, they were not best friends. They were not as close as you thought that they were. So in terms of knowledge of what went on allegedly at these white parties and what took place allegedly in these civil suits and the criminal charge and the trial, he says Jay-Z has no knowledge of any of that. Again, he publicly supported him as a fellow musician and someone where they came up together in the industry, but that they weren't as close as you thought.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
When someone as influential as 50 Cent makes such serious claims, it sparks a much bigger conversation. People start asking questions. Is there any truth to this? How deep does the corruption go? Is the world of hip-hop really as dirty as it's being portrayed? These accusations force fans and the public to reconsider what they thought they knew about the industry and its inner workings, leading to more scrutiny and curiosity about the truth behind the headlines.
There's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number 3, that she phone called her dad who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, need to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, we'll see what happens if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me. You want to look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating him, harassing him, etc. Now, demand letters are not new. What lawyers do is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there are certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a money grab or not? All of that will be litigated in a court of law, but according to Jay-Z, this never happened, is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touched on a point, too, that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that? The fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name?
Yeah, you know, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000, why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is he really, that is the lawyer, tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain